Yep, I'm here. And today, I present to you a true future classic, a truck that radically changed the arena. What am I saying? It didn't just change it redefined the segment. This truck survived the financial collapse of 2008, the fuel crisis, and it tackled the Baja 1000. This is a 2011 Ford F-150 SVT RAPTOR, and I can assure you, this is not your typical F-150. Today, I borrowed this Raptor from a viewer to show you why I think you need to buy one of these right now. After that, I will show you some of my favorite features, take it for a drive, and point out some of the things you should look for if you're buying one. We all know number 12 is very special. There are 12 months to a year. There's 12 zodiac signs. 12 is the highest number with one syllable. The human body has 12 cranial nerves. There are 12 days of Christmas, and most importantly, 12 is the day that I was born. So obviously, the 12th generation Ford F-150 pickup was going to be awesome. And nobody can deny the cool factor of a Raptor. When Ford engineers started to reach the limits of performance out of their SVT Lighting truck, they decided to embark on a new journey, one where GPS couldn't guide you. So they went into their beige conference rooms and do what automotive engineers do. And once they emerged from their tan universe, they came up with this. The Ford F-150 SVT RAPTOR, a radical departure from the SVT Lighting that took the performance F-150 from the pavement into the dirt. This monster of a truck comes equipped with an optional 6.2-liter V8 engine, making 411 horsepower at 5,500 RPM, pushing the truck from 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds. There's also a more eco-friendly version that comes with a standard 5.4-liter V8. So now, let's walk around the car. Well, I'll show you some of my favorite features. Then we'll take it out for a drive and point out some of the things you should look for when buying one.
My favorite feature of all is actually the overall design, with its bulging fenders, very aggressive stands, the hood vents. Just about everywhere you look, this truck really means business. Next is the yellow lights around the grille and mirrors. This is actually a DOT requirement since this truck is over 80 inches wide. I think they're pretty cool, and apparently so do a lot of other people. So much so that they're adding these lights to trucks that are not over 80 inches wide. And last but not least, the auxiliary buttons. Most car manufacturers give you slots for you to install buttons or just to cover up a hole that was meant for a feature on a more expensive model. But here on the Raptor, Ford intentionally added buttons that do nothing, but they used to plug in extra lights, a hitch, or a neon sign that says,
"I'm not trying to compensate."
And now, time has come to go for a drive, so let's go.
So immediately you feel great being so tall in a vehicle. We have this psychological need to think that anything big is just better and stronger. And I think we all feel that at some point. And you feel very safe and secure being so tall like this, which is pretty good. So this truck has an aftermarket exhaust and you can hear that. But the engine response is pretty good. The steering is nice. And it has this centering red lining over here, which is pretty good because it tells you where the steering wheel is. And it's really comfortable. And this is actually due to the triple stage shocks, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending if you're good with off-roading or not. That's why a lot of the people actually bend the frames on these trucks, because they go off-roading or jumping, and you know, the triple stage shocks actually allow you to have a very smooth ride. The faster you go, the smoother it is. That's how they work. So what happens is people have this false sense of smoothness as they go faster and faster, and then they go off-road and hit something or jump and land too hard. So it's just like a Lamborghini. If you're used to a Honda Civic and and you hammer on the gas on a Lamborghini, you're probably gonna crash. Visibility is nice all around except these big pillars here, which you kind of need for a big truck. All the controls are basically where they need to be, but you do have a lot of space. It's very comfortable, a little bit bigger than I'm accustomed to because I like sports cars. But you know, it's very comfortable and it brakes quite well and it's stable. You know, even though this is not intended as a luxury vehicle, but because of the nature of off-roading and the need for the very smooth suspension, it's actually a very smooth ride, very comfortable. And if you're looking to get one of these, now is the time, especially this model 2011 or so. These are going to be instant classics. After this, they change the engine and different things. And the price is right around, you know, 30, 40. It really depends on the mileage and condition. But it's really not going to go too much lower than that. And talking about that engine, let's hear for a little bit. And now you're really pumped and excited to buy one of these. So allow me to highlight some of the things you should look for when buying one. I made a video to show you general things to look for when buying any vehicle, like body shape, signs of wear, leaks, etc. The link to that video is included below. Use that as your basis, but now let's dig into things to look for this truck specifically. Keep in mind that it's never a bad idea to bring along a car-savvy friend who is familiar with these trucks to help you look for things. If you find one that you have your heart set on, I would also recommend that you get a PPI, or a pre-purchase inspection. This is usually done by an experienced off-road mechanic or a Ford dealership. It will be the best $150 you spend on the truck. Right, so let's jump right into it.
The first item I would like to point out could also be the most costly: bent frames. Make sure to check for signs of damage or bad repairs made to the frame by irresponsible owners or rookie drivers. Also check the condition of the bump stops, as this can be a sign of inappropriate treatment, such as the suspension being bottomed out too many times. Keep in mind that small frame repairs can cost anywhere from $800 to $1,500. Next, check for blown Fox shocks. This can cost about $2,300 to replace with OEM parts. There are companies that rebuild them for about $500 to $1,000, but be very careful, as many of these companies have a questionable warranty program. Basically, if you get a defective rebuild, you might have to prove to them that it wasn't you who blew them out. The owner of this truck used a company called rebuildshocks.com and had a blown shock within a few hundred miles of highway driving, and was basically told what I warned against previously. If you've heard different about this or any other company, please let me know in the comments below. In addition to the shocks, be sure to check for worn out suspension parts such as ball joints, tie rod ends, etc. Worn out parts may show themselves in the test drive, but not always. Be sure to check for broken rubber boots in the ball joints and tie rod ends, as this can let out grease and cause premature failure. Just as important as checking for worn out parts, take notice of any recently replaced parts and understand why they were replaced. Was it just normal wear or damage from aggressive driving? And if so, was there anything else that was damaged and not repaired? Next, make sure to inquire about the service records, but in particular the transmission recall TSB 13-6-8. Some 2011 to 2013 models equipped with a 6R80 transmission may exhibit a transmission engagement in 5th gear when starting. The wrench indicator and or the seatbelt minder may be illuminated. The speedometer reads 0 and the odometer displays dashes while driving. Symptoms may clear after an ignition key cycle. Diagnostics trouble codes P0720 and P0722 may or may not be stored in the powertrain control module. Finally, the hub bearings. These can be worn out depending on mileage or driving style. Make sure to check those for excessive humming noise, but be careful not to confuse tire road noise with bad hub bearings.
So thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like. Give me some comments below. If you have any suggestions as far as things to look for this truck, please comment below. And don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next video. 5.4 liter V8. But we all know there's no replacement for displacement. But as we all know, there's no replacements. Oh, messed up again. Placement, replacement, displacement. Okay. Now keep walking. Just, yep, we'll wait. We'll wait. Public domain. Shadow frame. Shadow frame.